Greetings, dear viewer. It's been a while. 6 months ago, I told you I'd be below 12% body fat while eating over 3,000 calories a day. Well, it's summer now, and I'm not below 12% body fat. And that stings a little. However, I am a hell of a lot leaner than I was 6 months ago. So there's progress being made here, and I can guarantee you, if I continue with this for another year or so, I will get definitely below 12% body fat. Here's the thing though, I don't want to wait another year, and if all your health markers are in check, your metabolism is functional, there is nothing wrong. Even from a bioenergetic perspective, Dr. Pete's perspective, there's nothing wrong with stopping to eat for a while. I don't mean fasting, but doing a little deficit, eating a little less, if health allows. And I'm telling you guys, so I got leaner these past 6 months, but I also am a shit ton stronger. And I'm also, my sleep has never been this good, except for, of course, the days leading up to this video, naturally, but we don't talk about that. We're also not going to talk about the fact that I'm standing here in this forest, half naked, very randomly, on this weird road. But yeah, a lot has happened these past 6 months, and I'm going to tell you all about this bioenergetic 3,000 calories a day. Well, it's not even a deficit, honestly. It's so low. It's like a 10% deficit, right? My maintenance was about 3,300, maybe a little over, depending on movement. And let me just get this out of the way. Yes, calories in, calories out is a huge part, right, of getting lean, of course. But do you think, and I know you don't think that, but there's going to be a retard here. If that's you, you're a retard. But do you think canola oil, rapeseed oil, a gallon of rapeseed oil a day is the same? Well, let's say 1,000 calories of rapeseed oil a day versus 1,000 calories of freshly squeezed sweet organic orange juice is the same. Do you think the you that is going to drink the rapeseed oil versus the OJ, which one of those is going to look better, going to be leaner, going to be stronger, going to have better skin, going to age less fast, going to have better hair? Which one? It's the same amount of calories. So that by itself should tell you. It's such a stupid example. Like, anyone that doesn't get this is sub 70 IQ, like legitimately. So anyway, now that that's out of the way, I want to get another thing out of the way. That's this whole energy flux thing. Because I'm a big proponent of making sure the metabolism functions first before you do an extreme deficit. Because I have been lean before. However, I was eating 1,700 calories a day, and I felt like shit. Not only that, my hormones were down the drain, my temperature and pulse were very low, I was lethargic, I had low energy, I was anxious. It might have looked good for a while, but that's not sustainable. And this is what all those health gurus do as well. They get people, they wrap their content very nicely, like, we forgot how to reconnect with nature. You need to make sure your feet are... Let me actually ground, though. That's very nice. You need to make sure your feet are planted in the ground, and then I will put you on sauerkraut for the gut, and I will put you on a 2,000 calorie deficit. That's a thing with these health gurus, though. They will literally put you on a 1,000 calorie deficit out of nowhere without checking where you are metabolically. Is your temperature and pulse right? How's your sleep? How's your foundation? Are you getting all the nutrients you need? Are you eating the weekly essential foods? Yes, you're going to need liver. You're going to need a little bit of oysters. You're going to need some fresh, healthy, sweet fruits. You're going to need enough calcium. You're going to need some gelatinous foods to balance out the amino acids from the tryptophan and whatnot in the lean meats. You're going to need all these things to make sure that your metabolism, your throughput, actually is operational. Because there is a difference between people. I know a guy, he's like 6'3", and he's eating 2,400 calories a day or something for many years now. And he's overweight. He's fat. He's holding on to like over 20% body fat. And And then I know another guy who's eating 4,000 calories a day and he's lean. And both of them do sports. So there's a lot happening inside. That whole process of the moment you put food in your body, all the way up to where and all its substrates that get converted into, ultimately by your cells into ATP and energy, where it turns the glucose, the water, and the oxygen into the ATP and the energy. Something like that. I haven't seen this with my eyes. It's not like I'm looking under a microscope, right? So I'm not going to pretend that I've seen these things. I've just read the science, and this is what is generally agreed upon. And then I experiment with things, I test them out, and I see what works. And yeah, I think I can agree with this view on things. Anyway, let me actually be normal here before I lose people, because I start yapping like crazy. Yeah, my mind doesn't operate in like text. It's like it's like stories, like many, many flashes of stories at once that get connected to each other. So I don't have an inner monologue. I just hear music, and I have stories that connect to each other like infinitely at speeds that I cannot express. And it's actually very silent. Like, it feels very silent. What am I talking about? All right, back to the topic. Back to the topic. So I'm retarded in a sense, but I'm also extremely intelligent, just so you know. I guess they call that autism, eh? So here's the thing, though. You need to make sure your foundation is in check. And that's what I've been doing these past 6 months. I've been nutrient bombing myself. I've been working on my foundations, my bottlenecks. The major bottleneck that I had was not getting enough sleep because I didn't want to go to bed. Once I'm asleep, it's no problem. My sleep is great once I sleep. My issue was going to bed on time so that I can wake up early next morning. So what I do now is I set my alarm before I go to bed. And this is my non-negotiable. Yes, sometimes you need discipline. Actually, I'm sorry, Peters. I'm sorry, bioenergetic enjoyers. You need some discipline to get stuff going. You are a human being with free will. Life isn't always easy, and it shouldn't be. But you need to equip yourself with the capacity, biologically, to deal with all those things that life throws at you optimally. So that when you do go to the gym, you can give it everything you've got instead of being at 70% because you only had 5-6 hours of sleep that night. What do you think happens if you operate like that at 60-70% of your capacity every single week, month after year? You're not gonna be your best self, let me tell you that. I actually tested that in the gym once where I slept really bad and I went anyway, and I literally did like 2/3 of the reps of that I normally do, and I just couldn't even get a pump. I was so tired. I was like, better off just not going and sleeping and nourishing myself, and then go the next day so I can actually give it everything and empty that tank. So, where was I going with this? Well, that's what I've been doing these past 6 months, longer than 6 months, honestly, to rehabilitate my entire foundation, metabolism, making sure the bottlenecks are unbottlenecked. And so now I'm fully ready. I'm ready to do a bioenergetic cut, a shred, if you will. After this priming, I was priming for 6 months, and now I'm going to do a shred. I was priming, now I'm going to do a shred. So, yeah. With that said, let me give you a little bit of value before I close this video. It's the takeaways from these past 6 months. Foundations cannot be outrun. Your macronutrients need to be balanced. You need your essential foods, your proper sleep. You need to, actually get the movement in. You got to move. You need purpose, all right? You need to align yourself. If you're stuck in your 9 to 5, you're drifting about and have, existential dread and stress because of that, because you're not acting upon your potential, that's a major stressor. And you're never going to be fully healthy until you actually align yourself with your path. As abstract as that sounds, it's real. There's different types of metabolisms. There's the biological metabolism that we all know and love, the PD metabolism, bioenergetics, where it's literally just like, your temperature, pulse, thyroid function, etc., getting the nutrients you need. That's the foundation. We need to make sure those are all in check. But there's also spiritual metabolism, your purpose. Are you who you're meant to be? Are you truly becoming yourself, your ultimate version? Super, super important. It cannot be ignored. These emotions that, just being in a flow and seeing the potential and going to where you know you're capable of, that creates such an amount of energy inside you. Actually going to bed early and waking up early in the morning, for me, walking outside before anyone, while all the goyim are still asleep, it creates an amazing amount of energy inside of me and clarity. It aligns me. And you can't just get that from food. You actually have, your actions have to align. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to focus only on the food. You need your why. You need your purpose. Again. And then there's the financial metabolism, which I've been thinking about, because this is like when it comes to these three metabolism, this has been my major bottleneck and also my generational curse. It's the financial metabolism. I've been thinking the biological and spiritual metabolism, if you combine those and you put yourself out there, that's the financial metabolism, your worldly metabolism. Who are you in the world? What are you creating into the world that comes from your core and the energy that your body has to produce it into the world? This is a topic for a completely different video. But where was I going with this? Right. Yeah. So the fundamentals, the foundations, you cannot outrun them. You need to get your sleep in check. You need to get your foods in check. You need to make sure your structure, your environment, that it's structured towards where you want to go. So you need to know where you currently are. So take your temperature and pulse for at least 3 days. Like, this is the thing that I made inside the guild. It's a temperature and pulse bot. You take it. It measures your pulse. You take your temperature with a thermometer and you put it in there. You do that for 3 days, then you have your average temperature and pulse. That's it. Now you know where you are. Is it low? All right, we've got to work more on nutrition, on sleep, on other things, on activity level, all these things. One hero panel, I called it a hero panel, for all your stats. And I love it, honestly. I created this, but I love it because I'm proud of it. And it's functional. Which is just super cool, right? And I'll leave a link. You can check that out. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. If anything, the one thing to take away from this video is to pinpoint that one bottleneck. You probably already know which one it is. Maybe you goon every single day. Maybe it's something else. It could be sleep. It could be the foods you consume. It could be inactivity. Whatever it is, pinpoint one bottleneck and make sure that you find the lever that you can pull every single day to unbottleneck that bottleneck. If it's sleep, set your alarm at 8 p.m. as I do to remind you, like, all right, quit everything, wind down, be in bed before 10, fall asleep. And then I don't have to set my alarm the next day because now I wake up naturally very early because I get enough sleep. So that's one example, right? So find that one bottleneck. We're doing a campaign inside the guild where we do this together for 60 days straight. There's a ton of resources, bioenergetics. There's live calls where we talk about different topics, bioenergetics, Physique Fridays. And that's the beauty of the guild. You can have your own goals. We start together. You can choose even how long you want to do it, at least 60 days. All right, I'm going to go now. Maybe I should flex a little bit. Yeah, it's all good.